What's going on, y'all? It's your boy June Archer here. The Winner Circle motivates you on thisis50.com. My guest today, R&B. Man, this guy, man, has been doing this thing for a minute. We've spoken before
Yeah.
on the show. Just glad to have him back. He got the new single called
Yeah.
Picky with Ro Timmy. Please welcome to the show, my little bro, the homie, Sammie. What's going on, brother?
Salute, King. Salute, man. What's good, brother? How you?
Man, I'm good, man. How have you been keeping during this quarantine, man, and staying creative?
Man, it's been actually, and first before we get to the positive side, let me say my condolences to everybody that's lost their lives or they've been affected by it, but they fought through it and or affected by it financially, man. COVID-19 is a real thing and I want everyone to stay safe and stay positive. I understand that God is the equalizer. But in this season of stillness, I've been able to really tap into my creative. I was on the Millennium Tour 2020 before we had to come off the road. And I always had an album in the works. It was dropping initially in May, but we pushed it back to June 5th, Such Is Life. So I've just been diving into my creative, man. It's a time where we now have the time to do things we thought we didn't have time for. You know what I mean? So completed the fifth album. It'll be out June 5th. I'm working on my sixth studio album as we speak. I got a candle line that I launched in February, and that's doing extremely well. And then I have a book coming out in the fall entitled Good to Know, pretty much letting women in the insight of a man's mind. So I've been quite busy, during this season. And I think that we should utilize this time and hopefully 2021, when things get back to normal, we'll be ahead of the game.
Take us back to that tour. That Millennial tour was something kind of special, man. It was you. It was B2K. It was
Yeah.
Mario. How was it going on the road with other heartthrobs when you guys are all coming up? You guys are getting it in,
Yeah.
really making an impact in your genre of music, doing what you guys are doing. How was that tour?
It was cool because actually, on the first tour I was actually left off of, and my fans kind of went up into an uproar because I was the first child star of the Millennium. But we don't cry over spilt milk. I just earned my stripes. I did my solo tour last year and sold out, and I think they took notice and brought me on the second one. So shout out to Amarion, shout out to G Squared Events, Bow Wow, everybody that was a part of it. Soldier. It was a beautiful experience. We only got 6 shows deep before the COVID took us off the road, but to earn your stripes and to be a part of such a, I would say a legendary trademark as far as tour is concerned, because we were the epitome of the Millennium and shifting the culture at that time. It was a blessing and really good to be back in arenas. I felt like me having to start over back in 2009 and revamp my sound and revamp my look and just really put my pieces of the puzzle to my career back together. It was a blessing to be a part of, and I'm grateful, man, for the opportunity.
To me, it was an amazing thing just for the genre and the culture to see you young stars together, one stage, doing your thing,
Yeah.
doing what you love, man. It was, to me, it was amazing to see it. I'm a fan of you guys, man, being on that same genre in R&B, man. I just really loved it.
Right.
I want to talk about this new record, man.
Yeah, Picky, man, featuring the homie Bro Timmy. That's my bro, man. A great king and a lion that I respect. Uh, I've known Bro Timmy before he became Dre. You know what I'm saying, on Power. And to see that, he took a pivot that was phenomenal. He went to acting, and people are just realizing how great of an artist and songwriter he is. So he's been on the Afro beats wave for quite some time. So when I got the record, I was like, yo, this would be a perfect one for Ro. So one night we went out playing basketball together, and I was like, "Yo, I got this record. I want to send it to you. Tell me if you vibe with it." And he hopped right on it. And before the COVID-19, we've been in talks about potentially hitting the road together. So hopefully in 2021 we can get a Sammie and Rotimi tour. But it's a blessing, man. The ladies love it. It's a vibe, man. It's a good time because we're quarantined in. So this record kind of takes you away. It got a very vacation getaway on an island, watching the sunset, sipping something nice with something nice. So the feedback has been amazing, though.
Now, the album that's coming is called Such Is Life.
Yes,
What
sir.
was the process in going into working on this new project?
Man, I'm in such a great place in life, and the mantra "such is life" to me, it pretty much means to roll with the punches. We go through ups and downs, we go through breakups and makeups, we go through heartbreak, and then there's this season of healing and mending. I just put all that and all those emotions that you kind of go through on this roller coaster of love into one project. It's 12 songs. I got Rotimi on the album. DJ Luke Nasty is on the album. We just dropped a banger called All Night 2 nights ago that's going up. And then I have my big brother Tank on the album too. I've grew up on Tank. So to have a record with Tank, it's like a dream come true. But I did this album specifically for anybody that said they miss that '90s R&B, that early 2000 vibe. You know what I mean? So I'm giving you storytelling. I'm giving you real vocals. I'm giving you content, substance, and vulnerability. And I love the freedom that I have over at Empire. Shout out to Gazi and Nima for allowing me to just be me. I don't have to be somebody else. I don't have to play the politics game. I can really just be Sammie. And thus far in my life, approaching my 21st year of being professionally known as Sammie, it's been enough to just be unapologetically myself. So I'm excited, man. June 5th, I'll give it out to the world and let them dissect it.
No, looking forward to it, man. What for you, the concept such as life? I love it. How did you create the body of work? Did you go in and just say, you know what, let's just record as many hot records as we can? Or did you just say, you know what, I want to have 10 to 12 solid songs, and you took the concept and kind of broke it down in that fashion? Take us inside creating
Yeah.
track by track.
Yeah, I had 3 months to work on it before we left for the Millennium Tour 2020. So that was a lot of time for me. I can do no lie. Maybe I would say if you give me 2 weeks, I can knock out 20 songs easy because I would do 2 or 3 a night when I record studio time or book studio time. For this one, man, it's like a story. I knew when I had the beginning. I knew when I had the end, and typically I have those kind of first, and then I just need the meat in the middle. So it starts off with this record called Closure, and that's my favorite record actually because it's a concept of which I used to feel like closure is a scam. That one last text, that one last, well, let me speak my piece and you speak your piece. It'll keep you in a toxic situation for far too long.
Right.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's best to leave things broken. But a ex of mine, and we ended terribly, like almost 2 years ago. She reached out to me to really tell me that she's proud of everything I've done in my career and in my personal life. She's been watching my growth, and I had no clue that she was even still in tune with me. And she sent me a message that embodied everything that I didn't even know I needed to hear from her. And her doing that kind of opened me up to saying some things and taking to account of some things that I did that I could have done better, and I got closure from it. So that was my beginning. Although it's the ending of something, it was the beginning of that release of a weight being left off you. And then the title track, such as life, is the outro record. In my last relationship, we just weren't a good fit. It was no cheating and trust issues and none of that on my end. It was more so my lifestyle wasn't conducive to her having a peace of mind. And again, with something like that, such as life, I can't control a woman not embracing me being Sammie, the recording artist, the businessman, the songwriter. I've only chosen to know that since I was 12 years young. So it's an insight of my life, but everyone has gone through these topics and these subject matters that I touched on this album. So it'll be a soundtrack for those who don't know how to verbalize it. I put it in a 12-song album for them to ride to and live with.
Now, taking that experience from these relationships and choosing that single picky,
Yeah.
how did you come to saying, you know what, such as life is an album, we got the bookends, but Picky's gonna be the record, because Picky seems to be the record that talks about women being selective in this process.
Yeah, I think that it's encouraging women to be choosy who they allow into their lives and their space and who they exchange energy with. That's not being stuck up. That's not being bougie. It's being self-aware. You know what I'm saying? There's no better love than self-love. It's no better confidence than self-confidence and self-esteem. That's why it says self first. It's up to you, man. We as human beings put our happiness and our joy and the treasures of life into other people. That's the worst thing you could do. You know what I'm saying? Because if that person crosses you or they hurt you or they abandon you, now you don't have happiness. Now you don't have peace. Now you don't have joy. So picky, I'm encouraging women to be picky with who you choose to partner with. And then I'm also saying I'm happy that you picked me. We fellas need to show more gratitude to our queens, man. There's too much toxic music out here degrading women for whatever reason. That's become the cool thing. And to me, it's the most lamest, childish, ignorant content matter going around in today's society, specifically speaking in this music industry we dwell in. So I thought it was a good, catchy record and it felt good, but it still embodies substance. And that's what I've always been a master at creating, something that was universally able to connect to.
How important is it to get back to the essence of true R&B, to talk about love and in the music in the past, whether it be the Isley Brothers or Keith Sweat, sex was a part of the conversation, but it was a little it was more of a
It
creative
was,
thing,
yeah,
right?
it was clever. It was clever.
They slid it in real nice. It was
Mm.
now it's so blatant, and it seems though yourself, you have Neo, Amari, like you guys are trying to bring it back. Like, how important is it to kind of get back to the root of relationships and intimacy in a proper fashion that our young
Yeah,
people who are loving you guys can appreciate it?
yeah. I feel like, I don't have no shade to trap and B and the things that, like, let's say a trap soul, the Bryson Tillers or the Tory Lanez or the Blacks bring to the game, because they're dope in their own right, own way. But I also feel like we can't get away from love, because we're only made to love. Humans were put here to love one another, to reproduce and spread peace, light, and love. So we got to make that okay again. And you can still talk about sex. Just be clever with it. Um, there's a such thing as foreplay that used to be appreciated by women, instead of just getting straight to smashing. And I think we finally reached a point as a collective where we want that back. We're tired of just popping bottles and riding nice cars, and it's all about the flash. And to be brutally honest, everyone hasn't experienced that, and most people won't, in this lifetime. But what they will try to experience and desire is love. So I'm happy that they want soul food back and not just the quick microwave music. You know what I mean? And I didn't use the auto tune and the cool sounds, because to me that's a robot. It's a technology system. It's a software, and robots don't have feelings. Use your vocal ability. Use your talent. I come from the church, so I'm all about impacting the spirit and the heart. And I guess the lack of substance and music that represented the traditional R&B is why I was able to sneak back in, quote unquote, and fit right into the pocket. They want it back, so I'm giving it to them.
No, we definitely need it back. What was the inspiration behind the candle? Because women
Yeah,
are traditionally the candle people, right? And
yeah, they're going
we
up. They're going up.
we guys are loving the sense and the vibe, and
Yeah,
I just want to know what was the inspiration behind the
my
candle.
yeah, my mother raised me, man, and always had like candles lit up all day. Monday through Sunday. I love nice scents. You can relate scents to memories. It takes you back certain things. And your mom cooked bacon, like it's Sunday morning. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's time to eat and fellowship with your family and go to church. Like, so candles is that vibe. It's that mood setter, and everyone loves candles, both men and women. And it kind of was an aha moment. I'm like, damn, why not create a candle? I've always wanted to diversify my portfolio. I never wanted to just be a musician. I wanted to be a mogul, entrepreneur. And it fell into my lap. Troy Gunn, my business partner, is in business with Pop and Pearl here in Conyers, Georgia, and I got to create my own scent. And when we did a soft launch, it went crazy. So you can go to Pop and Pearl Candle and get the pure love with the pure honey. And then I wanted to do something special with my album rollout, so I created a scent called Peace and All Night, which is named after two songs on the album. And if you buy the album right now on iTunes, if you pre-order it at sammiealways.com, you get a bundle package with the candles. And we sold out yesterday in the first 2 hours. So we had to go back to distribution to get more candles. And I think we're almost sold out in 48 hours of that second batch. It's just something that makes sense. Press play and listen to the Sammie album while you're burning a Sammie candle. It's a vibe. Fellas, you can set the mood with it. And ladies, of course, that's what they do. It's their thing. So it's just one of those things that it coincides with being an R&B dude.
How was it learning that process of creating
Exciting.
candles and getting the scent?
It was exciting, man, to learn about the wicks and the soy wax or the coconut wax, or the different the how paraffin is actually unhealthy for you. So we made it eco friendly. It's not bad for you
Nice.
to inhale. So anytime I put my energy into something, I give it my all. So the same passion that I have for music and songwriting is the same passion I have now as a businessman in candles in the candle world. And I treat it like my baby. I don't want to take it to Macy's yet. I don't want to take it to Bath and Body Works yet. Like, that's the ultimate goal, but I want to build the brand and make it something first, and then partner with these big competitors and get it into the big stores and the Targets of the world. So it's been awesome, man, to just tackle new feats. There's time. Where's the next 50 Cent? Where's the next Diddy? Where's the next
Right.
Jay-Z? Where's the next Nipsey Hussle? Those guys have showed us to use our music as the gateway to tackle other streams of revenue and become masters in that. So that's the blueprint I'm following.
You got a new show coming out that you're starring in. Tell us about that.
Yeah, man, I shot a pilot last year, man. I always wanted to pivot into acting. I just needed the music to be on autopilot, and now that it's on autopilot, I can, really, really become a good actor and then hopefully a great actor. We shot this pilot for a show called Misunderstood. It's about a 29-year-old guy. I'm Noah in the film, or in the series, for California, and pretty much it's dope that he's very successful by just doing just enough, and he finds out though he has a hard time putting 110% into his relationships, into his friendships. He had these dreams and aspirations at 30 in which he wanted to accomplish, and he's done a lot. He's one of the popular kids in the city, and he graduates on time. He stays out of trouble, but he could do more. You know what I'm saying? His 75% is actually good enough. So he's kind of just been floating by. And it was just dope to be able to be vulnerable for once. You know what I'm saying? I know how to be Sammie because I'm this guy. I've been this guy my entire life. But to tap into another character and embody that and to stay in that pocket was very challenging but refreshing. I was nervous. That's the first time I've been nervous about anything in a long time because it's such an unfamiliar territory.
Right.
But to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. So I'm very excited. And now we're shopping it to a few networks, and hopefully 2021 will be in full swing. But I'm excited, man, to make that pivot also, because to me, acting is like forever. You can be 90 years old and still hitting the big screen.
Correct.
I think as an artist, you have to be real with yourself. Every artist has a day where they're not as hot as they used to be. And to me, before that time comes for Sammie as the artist, I would like to already be flourishing in the businesses that I'm in the acting world that I'm pivoting to.
You made a great point about your character, Noah, talking about the putting in 75% just good enough. Some days it feels like, people are just getting by. They're just doing just enough. I want to ask you, what is the best piece of advice that you've been given that you could share with our viewers and listeners to kind of get over that hump, to understand that if you really, really want to be successful in anything, sometimes 100% isn't enough.
Yeah, I'm allergic to mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? I was raised that way. It makes me itch. It makes me cringe. I would encourage everybody to fall in love with the process and forget about the results. Don't even see a finish line. And by that I mean, you might say, "Oh, I want a coupe." Cool. It costs you $150,000. Once you make the currency to get that or surpass that, and you get that car, after driving it for a year or 2 years, you're tired of it. You want something else. You want something bigger. So there's no ending. There's always more to obtain. There's always more to do. There's always more to give. So I've fallen in love with the process of becoming a businessman and a mogul and an entrepreneur and a master in the candle world and a master actor and a master author. Being Sammie, the singer, songwriter, performer, which is awesome, is still not enough. I want so much more for myself. And as we spoke earlier, we're alive, brother. Any day that you get to wake up out of bed is another day to tackle a new feat. And that's exciting. So stop showing your highlights all the time on Instagram. You got a nice house? Cool. Talk about how once upon a time your credit score wasn't high enough. And what did you do to get that 800 beacon score? You know what I'm saying? Talk about the hours that you put into studying in school or a trade or work to become a master to have these things. We only show the results. We never give people the sauce and the formula, the blueprint on how we got there.
We have to share the blueprint.
That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? So I share the blueprint. Like I sing something every day. I write a song or I study songwriting every day. I'm learning about candles and diversifying and what concoctions make this scent every day. Like it's something I'm doing every day to become better than I was the day before. So I encourage everybody to not accept mediocrity because, as you said, if you just get just enough, you're actually suffering during this pandemic because you was living check to check, you know what I'm saying, or show to show. You didn't plan for the rainy day. But when you really, really understand that there's no such thing as enough and the world could be yours, you'll go hard and during the rainy season still be flourishing because you prepped for it. You lived for it every day. So I encourage everybody, man, to fall in love with the process and the journey. There is no destination. We the destination ends when we die. You know what I'm saying? Aside from that, every day wake up and get to it.
Where can we get this album when it comes out? Where can it get the single? And where can we see you promoting this as it drops June 5th?
Yes. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and my Twitter, and my website is all conducive. Sammie Always, SammieAlways. My Snapchat and my Facebook is Sammie Lee Bush. That's SammieLeightBush. June 5th, Such Is Life will be available on all digital formats. So wherever you can purchase music, stream music, it's going to be there. I'm very, very, again, excited. I'm proud about it. And for everybody, again, that said they miss R&B and they love R&B music, the traditional R&B, this project was for them. I didn't chase DJs. I didn't chase strip clubs. And right now we have 3 singles out. Friend Zone. I got Picky featuring Rotimi. And then I have All Night featuring DJ Luke Nasty on all digital formats as we speak.
Now, can we look forward to another Millennial tour? Or,
I mean, right now,
2021 to get here sooner than we think.
Right now, fingers are crossed. It hasn't been canceled, simply postponed to 2021. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, we got 5-6 more months left in the 2020 era, and then on to new and bigger, better things. So I'm happy that it hasn't been canceled. It's just postponed. So if you have your tickets, if you have your meet and greets, they still hold weight. You know what I'm saying? We'll just be able to use them at a later date.
That's dope. Music is the soundtrack to our lives, Sammie. For you, what song best represents this moment in time for you, that when you put that record on, man, you get in that space, you get into that space that represents the title of your album?
You know what? It's a Stevie Wonder record. It's my favorite album of all time to me. My dad used to play it every summer when I would come to Tampa. It's an album called Conversation Piece. And I encourage anybody. I know a lot of people not hip maybe in this era to Stevie or the masterpieces that he's released, but he talks about worldly things. You know what I'm saying? Me and you, we look alike. We share the same melanin, right? So it's a headache for us to get home safely without getting pulled over by an officer,
right?
And not getting hunted down like some type of animal. It talks about love. It talks about unification. It talks about peace. You know what I'm saying? That's what that album and that's what that record represents, and that's the times that we're living in. And unfortunately, we have a long way to go, but I think one change at a time, one person at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time. It's a marathon. It's really not it's a turtle race. It's not a sprint. We can change the tide and the temperature of where the world is today. So I think that project in its entirety and that song is best fitting for the realm and space and dimension that we're in right now.
Given the climate, I mean, we were already in trying times with COVID-19, but over the past couple of days events,
yes,
how important do you believe it is for us to figure out a way to show, one, more positive images of men of color, and two, organizing in a fashion that best represents how we need to be treated as people of color versus law enforcement?
I'm gonna be honest. On the first part, I can keep it peaceful because I feel a way, with the second part of that question that may not be politically correct, but I'm gonna still speak it the best PG-13 way I can say.
Most certainly.
As a black man, I just went grocery shopping and had to drop my clothes off for the cleaners. You know what I'm saying? And there's cops behind me, and there's cops doing their jobs, supposed to be protecting the community. Do less, man. And when I say less, I mean be mannerable, learn how to articulate, learn how to control your temperament, comply. Please say the yes sirs and the no ma'ams. I know we feel powerless when these times come because we're so disrespected, and to see these things online and to watch fellow kings get killed over nothing, it does something to your spirit. It does something to your demeanor. And I say that to say with the second half, sometimes you could comply and they still mistreat you. They still hit you. They still kill you. I'm not so certain if these protests and the speaking is gonna be the change. And I was always a man about peace and light and love, and I still am. But maybe they're not gonna feel it till there's some retaliation. And I don't want to be an advocate for violence or, I didn't give life, so who am I to take life? I don't condone that. But the talking, that's not it. I don't have the answers, but I know talking is not enough. So I just got 2 comments like, why haven't I spoken on my page about, the death of George, and for what? What is the talking gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've spoken about it. We've been preaching and speaking for 200 years, and nothing's really changed. We just have smartphones where we can document it now.
Right.
And then what does that do? They get paid off and laid off for 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? There's really no justice. So I don't know if the talking is the solution anymore. And because of that, I don't know what the solution is. I'm done talking though. Me personally, I don't like talking about it. It's just a sad, sad day. And I pray that I don't even get pulled over and put into one of those awkward situations, because I don't know how I would handle that situation no more. You know what I mean? Because in fear of my life, at that point, it's your life over mine.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
that's just the truth. I don't see myself willingly getting jumped and pummeled on and begging for them to stop. I don't think that's what I would do anymore. You know, because they're not stopping
No, they're
until we're
not
not
stopping.
breathing.
They're not
So
stopping.
I don't have the answers, man. I just pray and I pray and I pray, and my heart and soul and condolences to all the families, not just, the most recent act with George going on. I pray that something changes, man, because law enforcement has become the biggest gang in our nation. It's not the Bloods, it's not the Crips, it's not the GDs, it's these police officers, particularly the white people that view, for whatever reason, us blacks as scum of the earth. So that second half, man, is a to be continued, because I don't know if I'll be so peaceful if that was me.
Understood.
I think I would die fighting. You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate your perspective, man. It's tough, and I think to some we may have to listen to what Jay said. I think we are done kneeling. We have to come to the table and have conversation and dialogue with law enforcement, whether black, white, Hispanic, or other, and really
Yeah.
figure out what the next step is to bridge this gap. So
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that perspective. Listen, get this single now, man. The album is
Yeah.
coming. We told you it's June 5th, and make sure you get it. And if you don't get the candle with it, make sure you get the candle
That's
separately.
right.
Put it together. Have a good time. This is Sammie. I'm your host, June Archer. This is the Winner Circle Motivate You on This Is 50. Thank y'all for coming out. Any last shout outs, Sammie?
Man, I want to thank you, man, for always being a light, always being good to me, always being supportive to me. Thank you for how you move and how you represent yourself as a king. And to my fans, just thank y'all for allowing me to expand my horizons and grow up from a child star to a teenager and now a grown man, and still doing what I love to do. Everything I do out there, they support it, and I'm nothing without them. So I'm very, very grateful.
Man, we appreciate you. We love you, man. God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing. Please like it, share it. Get that album June 5th. It comes out. New
Yes,
single,
sir. Yes,
Picky with
sir.
Rotimi. It's
Yes, sir.
Sammie, your boy June Archer. Y'all be good. Peace.
Namaste. Love.